So, about a month ago, I made a video where I tried to get as many stars as possible in Mario 64 without entering a single painting. With the help of Marbler, a Mario 64 speedrunner, I was able to get 113 out of 120 possible stars. The only stars we couldn't get were the 7 in Lethal Lava Land, but literally every other star was obtainable without entering a painting. Now, shortly after making that video, I made another video on Mario 64, but this time it was on the DS version. I looked at exactly how many stars were needed to beat the game, and honestly, it really opened my eyes to just how broken that game really is. It also got me thinking though, how many stars could we get in the DS version without entering paintings? On one hand, it would be harder. The DS version has a lot more stars than the original, and a whole character system that makes unlocking these stars a lot more complex. But on the other hand, it's also completely fucking broken. So I had to know just how many stars we could get. Could we beat the 113 I obtained in the original? Could the DS game be the superior version? Could it finally step out from the shadow of the original and become the undisputed greatest Mario 64 game in the world? Well, yeah, you've seen the thumbnail. You can collect all 150 stars in this game without touching a single painting. I'm Dan from Press A, and this is How Many Stars Can You Get in Mario 64 Without Entering Paintings? Now, since there was so much confusion in my last video, I'm gonna break it down real simple for y'all what exactly I think a painting is. This is a painting. This is a wall. They are not the same. I didn't think I'd have to specify that in my last video, but boy was I wrong. I had Marbler over here, like, breaking the laws of quantum physics just to get into Jolly Roger Bay, and then some of y'all are like, actually, jumping into the snowman's land is cheating. There's actually an invisible painting on that wall that you can only see in the mirror, which is just insanely wrong, by the way. First of all, this is a painting for Cool Cool Mountain. Are you saying that Snowman's Land and Cool Cool Mountain share the same painting? Because literally no other level in this game works that way. Second, if we were actually jumping into an invisible painting, wouldn't only a small square on the wall ripple and not the entire wall itself? Like, when you jump into Bob-omb Battlefield, only the painting ripples, not the wall behind it. So please, can we stop being insane? This is a painting. It has a picture and a frame around it. Everything else is fair game. Oh, and also, entering the level itself is fine. As long as we don't go through the painting to do it, it's okay. So, is everybody good? Okay, let's get into the video. Now, if you didn't know, there's actually quite a few differences between this game and its original N64 counterpart. One of these differences we hit right away, as you can't just walk through the front door of the castle in this version. You actually have to catch this bunny first to get the key to the door, which we can obviously do no problem. But as soon as we enter the castle, another one of these differences rears its ugly head, and this one's actually a problem for us. Unlike the 64 version, you cannot BLJ in Mario 64 DS. Nintendo actually capped Mario's backward speed, so it just doesn't work anymore. Which is bad for us, because with 0 stars, there's only one level we can enter, and it's entered through a painting. Every other door needs at least 1 star to open, so this is really our only option. The way we got around this in my original video was with a trick called the LBLJ, which essentially just allows you to BLJ in this out of bounds area, which in turn allows you to get past the first Bowser door with 0 stars. I then opened up the basement and got stars from Shifting Sandland and Hazy Maze Cave. Unfortunately though, we can't really do that in this version because we can't BLJ. Luckily for us though, there is something we can do that basically gives us the exact same outcome. This is Moat Skip, and it allows us to walk underwater using a glitch called Heaven's Portal. Or, more specifically, a Heaven's Portal Downwarp. As I showed in my last video, you can use the Heaven's Portal glitch to get shot up to the near ceiling if you slag kick into a wall at high speeds and are moving downwards. Since you're going into the wall at such a high rate of speed, the game thinks that your net's position will be out of bounds, which is a problem for the game because the game is trying to detect the net's floor that will be below you, but out of bounds doesn't have a floor. So when the game detects nothing, it returns the lowest possible position as your net's floor. This lowest possible position is a really big number. In fact, it's so big that it actually causes an integer overflow and causes you to go to the highest possible position instead of the lowest. Now, if you are going downwards as you slide kicked into the wall, the game will place you slightly under the maximum height, which is slightly under the highest ceiling above you. But if you are going upwards as you slid into the wall, the game will place you slightly above the maximum height, which will again cause an integer overflow and send you to the nearest floor instead of the nearest ceiling. This can be achieved with a frame perfect B press as you hit the wall, which will cause Yoshi to perform a rollout, causing him to slightly move upwards. Basically, all of this was just to say, if we hit the wall at high speeds, we can move downwards. This allows us to walk underwater and enter the castle's basement without getting a single star or having to defeat Bowser the first time. So now that we're in the basement, we can collect a bunch of stars, but unfortunately, it's not as many as you would think. We obviously can't enter Lethal Lava Land because it's a painting. We can enter Shifting Sandland and Hazy Maze Cave, but there's a bunch of stars in both those levels that are off limits to us. In Shifting Sandland, we can obtain the 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th star. The 4th because we can't break this block with Yoshi, the 5th because we can't break this block without Wario, the 6th because the silver stars won't spawn until you actually reach this mission, which we can't do, and the 7th because we need Mario and the wing cap to collect these coins. Hazy Maze Cave, on the other hand, fares a bit better. Even though most of the stars in this level require Wario, it doesn't really stop us because the cap system in Mario 64 DS. Once you unlock a character in this game, their caps can be found throughout most of the levels. If you happen to touch one of these caps, you will transform into the character that that cap aligns with. This was implemented so the character wouldn't have to keep going back to the character switching room to switch characters just to get certain stars. Now, I know what you're thinking. We haven't unlocked any of these characters, so we couldn't use these caps even if we wanted to, so who cares? Well, this isn't exactly true. Because regardless if you unlock the character or not, the game will always place certain caps in certain levels or missions. Like the Mario cap in the foot race against Koopa the Quick mission, or the Luigi cap, which will always show up in Big Boo's Haunt. Another one of these is Wario's cap in Hazy Maze Cave. It'll show up in every mission in the level, regardless if you unlocked Wario or not. So we can get every star in the level except Metalhead Wario can move, simply because we haven't unlocked power-ups yet, and we need one to hit this switch. Oh, and we could also technically collect the 100 coin star, but it's way easier when we get all the characters, so let's just do it then. But yeah, we can obtain 9 stars in the basement, then head back upstairs and obtain 2 more in the Princess's Secret Slide, which we can enter because this is stained glass and not a painting. However, once that's over, we come across another obstacle. This painting stopping us from unlocking Mario. Even though we have enough stars to get past the 8-star door, this painting is directly in our way, which is not good. If we want to collect every star in this game, we're going to need Mario. So we're going to have to find a way past this painting, and luckily for us, there is one. If we slide kick into this corner, we can perform what's called a corner clip. Now, corner clipping works in almost the same way the Heaven's Portal glitch worked. All you have to do to pull it off is slide kick into a glitchy corner, which is just a corner that allows the character to enter the wall a tiny bit. Once done, your character will shoot up in the air just like a Heaven's Portal, but will stop as soon as they hit the ceiling. This causes them to fall back down and land out of bounds. Once out of bounds, you can hop along the border of the room and then hit the loading zone for the Mario painting without ever touching it. Unfortunately though, there are 2 stars in this level that we can't quite get yet because we don't have Wario or Luigi. But we can unlock Mario by defeating Goombas, and we can always come back for those stars later, so it's really not a big deal. Now that we have Mario though, we can go around a bunch of levels and collect a bunch more stars. Like the one for collecting 8 red coins in the aquarium, which is entered by going through this hole in the wall in the Jolly Roger Bay room. Or the 2 stars in the courtyard, which are obtained by collecting 8 red coins and collecting 5 silver stars in the Battle Fort Arena, which again is entered through a hole. After that's done, we can collect 2 stars in Bowser in the Dark World, then collect a single star and hit the red switch in the question mark switch level. Funnily enough though, we actually don't have to defeat Bowser because we've already unlocked the basement, and that's all you really get from actually beating him. What we do have to do though is unlock Luigi. He's needed for a number of different stars in the game, so getting him ASAP should be our first priority. And he just happens to be in the level we're going to next, so it just kind of works out. The level I'm referring to is Big Boo's Haunt. Now, let me break it down for you because this level is a little bit complicated. There are 5 stars in the level we can collect no problem. Go on a ghost hunt, ride Big Boo's merry-go-round, Secret of the Haunted Butts, seek 8 red coins, and Big Boo's balcony. But that's where the good news ends. Because Big Boo's Haunt has a whole bunch of obstacles I had no idea how to get by. Like the painting you need to jump through to get the eye to eye in the secret room star. Or how to get Luigi because we can't jump in the painting that takes us to the level where he's unlocked. And even if we could somehow enter that level, there's another star in it that you can only obtain by, yep, you guessed it, jumping in a painting. I was legitimately at a loss of where to go. All the tricks in the run so far were just common ones used in the any % speedrun. But this was different. This was gonna need something special. And Bobby Bob from the Mario 64 speedrunning Discord had the exact kind of special that we needed. Yeah, because this game is broken to absolute fuck, every single one of these obstacles could be surmounted. Now, mind you, these are all done using TAS, but theoretically, they could be done by a human. But yeah, I just showed you guys a lot, so let's try to break it down. So, for the eye to eye in the secret room star, he performs what's called an NPC clip. For some reason, in this game, when you talk to an NPC, the wall collision is completely removed. So if you get in between a wall and an NPC and talk to them, the NPC will push you through the wall and out of bounds. Since Mario's now out of bounds, he can triple jump along the seam of the wall to get to the 2nd floor and then do it again to get to the 3rd, which just happens to land him right in the room where the eyeball is, letting him get the star without ever having to jump through the painting. Now, you probably noticed, but the way to get in the Luigi painting is almost identical. And it made sense why it would be because the Luigi painting is basically right beside the eyeball room. So yeah, he does the same NPC clip again, triple jumps up to the 3rd floor, but instead of going into the eyeball room this time, he turns to the right and long jumps so he can hit the loading zone for the Luigi painting without ever hitting it. That now leaves us with the star inside the painting. To get this one, the player needs to be Luigi, get the vanish cap, and then jump through the painting. But instead, Bobby Bob folds space and time, enters the 5th dimension, and jumps straight through the floor. This is called quantum tunneling. It's super complex, and I already did like a 5-minute explanation on it in my last video, so I'm not gonna sit here and explain it all to you again. If you happen to miss it and want to know how it works, I will link the video in the description. But basically, all you need to know is Nintendo made a big oopsie when coding how the floor detection in this game works. So if you jump above a floor with the perfect position and speed, you can just clip right through it. Like I said, it's way more complex than this, but that's essentially what's going on here. So yeah, he finds the right spot on the floor, jumps up to tunnel through it, then nabs himself the star. All that's left in the level now is the 100 coin star, which we can get, and the switch star in the basement that requires Wario, which we obviously can't. But something we can do is head back to Hazy Maze Cave and grab ourselves the 100 coin star and the Metalhead Wario Can Move star, finishing off the level completely. We can do this now because we recently unlocked power-ups, which means we can use the metal cap to finally hit this switch. We can also head back to Shifting Sandland and grab ourselves the 100 coin, iRock, and red coin stars. The only thing holding us back from getting these ones was unlocking Mario, so we really could have done it any time after unlocking him. There are still 2 stars left in the level, but we can't get them because we still don't have Wario. Finally, we can talk to the Toad outside Hazy Maze Cave and nab ourselves another star, which ends up getting us 31 in total, just enough to make it through the second Bowser door. This grants us access to Dire Dire Dots, where we can collect every single star except for 2. The Jetstream star and the Switch star, which again requires this fat piece of garbage. But you know what doesn't require him? Getting both stars and defeating Bowser in the Fire Sea level, which then allows us to go upstairs, get a star from talking to this Toad, and attain another one by going through this mirror with Luigi and entering the secret room. Oh, and all the stars in Snowman's Land are also obtainable without Wario. Also, like I mentioned before, this is not a painting, and if you think it is, you are insane and need professional help. But yeah, with one more star grabbed from the Behind the Waterfall course, we had obtained exactly 50 stars, which is exactly enough to enter through the star door leading to the 3rd floor. But there was a problem. Even if we obtained every star on the 3rd floor, we still were unable to get any stars we needed Wario for, and all the ones that are in paintings on the 2nd floor, the basement, and back in the lobby that we just can't enter. Now, I knew from my previous video that it was possible to skip the Endless Staircase, which would get us to Bowser in the sky and allow us to beat the game. But if we did that, we would only be able to get like 70 stars. And at that point, who even cares if we can beat the game or not? We would be so far under the 113 star count I got in the original game that it wouldn't even matter. If that's all we could get in this video, this challenge would at least, in my eyes, be a complete failure. We needed help, or this challenge was gonna be dead in the water. And in our darkest hour, Emily the Koopa came to our rescue. Now, if you watched my last video, this name will probably sound familiar to you, as she helped quite a bit with the video itself, answering a bunch of questions that I had. But this time, she decided to help with the challenge directly, and what she came up with was pretty fucking cool. She found a way to get into all the levels on the 2nd floor and Lethal Lava Land in the basement, which was awesome because Lethal Lava Land was the one level we couldn't enter in my original video. But yeah, let's break down what she actually did because it sure is something. So the first level she got into was Chief Chili's Challenge, which is normally accessed by going through the mirror with Luigi and jumping into the Wario painting. Obviously, she can't do that, so she did something a bit different. First, she made her way up to the 3rd floor, then positioned herself to the left of the tick-tock clock tree, then did a triple jump wall kick combo off of it. This allowed her to get over the wall and land on this little section of floor out of bounds. Next, she slid into the out of bounds area, which created a heavens portal and sent her flying up into the air. Then, all she had to do was aim herself at the room where the Wario painting was located and come crashing down. Since she's not really on the 2nd floor and out of bounds to boot, when she entered the mirror room, nothing was loaded. The only things that were loaded were the floor and the walls, which she used to navigate the room and enter the level. This now means we can enter Chief Chili's Challenge, so we can unlock Wario and get both stars in the level. But Emily the Koopa's magic doesn't stop here. Using basically the same technique, she was able to navigate her way to Tiny Huge Island, Wet Dry World, and Tall Tall Mountain, all without touching a single painting. So even though this was really cool, Emily still had one more trick up her sleeve: getting into Lethal Lava Land. The way she did this was pretty simple. She caught this pink rabbit right beside the wall near Shifting Sandland, then performed an NPC clip to get out of bounds. For some reason, in the basement, there's just water in the out of bounds area, so she was able to use it to swim behind the Lethal Lavaland painting and hit the loading zone without ever having to jump in the painting itself. Now, the caveat to all these tricks is that you would have to do them each time you wanted to enter each level. So you would have to do the Heaven's Portal trick 24 times to get all the stars in Tall Tall Mountain, Chief Chili's Challenge, Tiny Huge Island, and Wet Dry World. Then you would have to do the NPC clip 7 times to get all the stars in Lethal Lavaland, which would be so horrible, it should probably be its own circle of hell. But the important thing is that it is doable. And since we have every character unlocked now, we can collect every one of these stars without any problems. So now that that huge obstacle is out of the way, we can start collecting some easy stars again. Like I said, since we have all the characters now, nothing is really stopping us from collecting all the stars in a level unless it's entered through a painting. But luckily for us, the levels on the 3rd floor are not. We can enter the Rainbow Ride and Over the Rainbow levels by jumping in these 2 holes, and Tick-Tock Clock by jumping through this clock face, which is not a painting. If we pair all of that with the star we can get from talking to this toad, we can obtain 19 stars on the 3rd floor. We can also do some cleanup now. Since we have every character, we can go back to the levels and pick up every star we missed the first time through, which includes the 5 Silver Star and Switch stars in Shifting Sandland, the Switch and Jetstream stars in Dire Dire Docks, the Switch and 8 red coin stars in the Goomboss level, the Switch and red coin stars in the Secret Moat, the Switch star in Big Boo's Haunt, the 8 red coin star in the Behind the Waterfall stage, and finally, the single star you get from catching all the glowing rabbits. Getting all of these stars from the basement, 2nd, and 3rd floor gets us nearly every star in the castle. I say nearly because there's still one area that we've hardly even touched. One area that we've only gotten a couple stars from. That area is the lobby. Now, the lobby is a huge problem. It has 5 levels that require a painting to enter. Sunshine Isle, Jolly Roger Bay, Womp's Fortress, Cool Mountain, and Bob-Omb Battlefield. The last 5 levels between us and the dream of collecting every star in Mario 64 DS without entering paintings. But I had no idea what to do. I had no idea where to go. Getting into these levels was going to be impossible, which meant getting all the stars in this game was going to be impossible. This challenge was over, and we had hit a dead end. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to skip making this part all dramatic, because you already know we got all the stars. So let's just skip the theatrics, let's just skip all the drama, and get right into it. A speedrunner by the name of RelievedLiberty got into every single level. Yes, every single one! And he didn't even break a sweat while doing it. So the first level he got into was Jolly Roger Bay, and the way he did it was by using a trick called 2K DS, or 2-key door skip. This trick is normally used in the any % speedrun to skip past the upstairs door you need the 2nd key for. It's done by triple jumping up to the top of this pillar, sliding into the out of bounds area to perform a Heaven's Portal, then navigating yourself to the loading zone for the 2nd key door. Now, to get into Jolly Roger Bay, RelievedLiberty performs the first half of the trick, but once he's on the pillar, instead of performing a Heaven's Portal, he jumps down and hits the loading zone for the level from behind. The way he gets into Bob-Omb Battlefield, Cool Mountain, and Womp's Fortress are pretty similar to the original version of the trick, but with a few key changes. When he performs the Heaven's Portal, instead of navigating towards the 2nd key door, he navigates to each of the level's respective paintings. You can see here in the minimap, he navigates over to Womp's Fortress, Cool Mountain, then Bob-Omb Battlefield, hitting the loading zone for each level and getting into them no problem. Oh, and he also got into Sunshine Isle as well. Remember that glitchy corner trick I showed off earlier that allowed us to get into the Mario painting without actually touching it? Well, it turns out you can just do the same trick, but instead of going towards the Mario painting, you take a left towards Sunshine Isle and hit the loading zone. Once again, getting into the level without ever touching the painting. Unfortunately though, just like with the levels Emily the Koopa showed off, you would have to do this trick 7 times each for each level, which would probably be just absolute fucking hell. But yeah, with those levels now conquered, we can head up to the final level in the game, collect the 2 stars there, and finish off the final Bowser fight. All while obtaining every single star, whole 150 in the game, without entering a single painting. There wasn't a single star we couldn't get. No stupid level like Lethal Lava Land we just couldn't enter. Everything was doable. This game has been completely and utterly conquered. Now, before we go guys, I want to give a huge shout out to the Mario 64 speedrunning Discord. Specifically, Emily the Koopa, RelievedLiberty, and Bobby Bob. Without them, this video literally would not have been possible, so thank you so much. But yeah, every single star in Mario 64 DS can be obtained without entering a single painting. If you told that to 12-year-old me who got this game for Christmas way back in 2004, it would have blown my fucking mind. Anyways guys, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. This video was made possible through the support of our amazing patrons. I want to give a special shout out to Rebecca Lyons, Burb, Puddles Megan, Liam Helt, Nice Gamer Musics, Serena Bliss, TXCS_14. Blue Pikmin is the best Pikmin, and if you say otherwise, then Louie will eat your soul. Also, this is a completely real name. Young Smokey VP $17, Clone Trooper Wheeler, and Koi Koi 13.